You are now listening to The Spearsy Spin with your host, Mike Spears.
Thursday, June 8th and Friday, June 9th, 2017. The killings of Trayvon Martin and of Michael Brown became the causation to form a group called Black Lives Matter. Good evening, folks, and welcome to The Spearsy Spin. Black Lives Matter is an organization that banners and protests for racial justice. President Barack Obama, while limited as the POTUS, did give praise to this group as well as helping to perhaps cement BLM as a recognized ideology because of his interest in the cases of Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown. At one point, then President Obama had made the statement that Trayvon Martin could have been his son, metaphorically speaking, of course. Now, the group is outspoken and has been useful in the examination of systematic racial injustice. According to Black Lives Matter, young black men are 21 times more likely than their white counterparts to be shot by police. Now, this statement has caused a lot of blowback from other groups that may not be entirely tolerant of BLM. To that end, some groups indicate that the real issue of young black men being shot is not because of police, rather it's black-on-black crime. Black Lives Matter also claim that public schools are more segregated now than ever before, and black unemployment is 2 times that of whites. Black Lives Matter sports an ideology of unapologetic blackness that has caused a bit of discern in and around the country. It should be a given that civil rights in the 21st century should be all-inclusive. But as we know, that isn't always the case, and not just for blacks, but also for others in this country that may be of a different skin color, religion, or other ethnicity. Has progress been made since the days of Dr. Martin Luther King? Well, yes and no. Dr. King, in my opinion, he was ahead of his time. He was an extremely brilliant man, an excellent orator, and of course, a man of peace. Sadly, Dr. King was assassinated in 1968 by a vile individual named James Earl Ray. So, is BLM making progress? Should people of all races join the movement and become a voice of one? Last year, the amount of protest, unrest, violence, and the shooting of law enforcement officials reached an all-time high. This evening, even as I write this commentary, there are student uprisings on college campuses and disparity and aggression between the left and the right. Demonstrations by the Black Lives Matter movement demanded justice for black men and women who were beaten and or killed by police officers. The images of many of these acts have been captured on dashboard cams and, of course, cell phones. And for us that were born before 1965, it has the eerie resemblance of the riots from the 50s and the 60s. While no one can deny there exists a lot of footage with regard to the police and perhaps their questionable actions, we cannot afford to let society make knee-jerk reactions on each and every case. Now, I personally have been a strong proponent of more black police officers, more black mayors, more black chiefs of police, district attorneys, judges, FBI agents, senators, congressmen and congresswomen, vice presidents, and presidents. To accomplish this, in my opinion, BLM organizers need to get protesters away from blocking highways and making demands. And now more than ever, as Dr. King said so many times, get the folks educated. as education is the key to any cell door.
At this point, education is the most important thing in your lives. The successes of tomorrow are built upon the actions of today.
So anyway, I looked the principal right in the eye and said, all right, quit. So he says, I'm gonna fail. I said, I flunk, you flunk. And then I give him one of these.
Just one question, Mr. Lessworth. One question. Lessworth, just one question. One question, Mr. Lessworth. Just one question. Chaz, what are your plans for the future?
Education lets you live your dreams, so you don't have to dream your lives.
Tough it out. Stay in.
Don't go away. We have to pay some bills, and then we're coming back with Mike Spears.
Hi, I'm Ben Utek. I played high school, college, and pro football, helping my team win the 2006 championship. That was an amazing day, but it can't compare to the joy I feel every day with my loving wife and 3 beautiful daughters. My football career ended after I suffered my 5th concussion. Did you know that over 1 million athletes suffer a concussion each year? That includes boys and girls, every age, every type and level of sport. It isn't always clear that a player has had a concussion, so parents, athletes, and coaches need to learn about concussion signs and symptoms. The American Academy of Neurology recommends athletes thought to have a concussion be immediately removed from play and not returned until assessed by a healthcare professional trained in concussion. This isn't just about sports. It's about your brain. When in doubt, sit it out. Learn more at aan.com/concussion. A message from the American Academy of Neurology.
Hello, this is Captain Jack Sparrow. So you've already met this dastardly scoundrel who calls himself Mike Spears. That would mean that you're listening to the Spearsy Spin. Right. By my reckoning, if you give a thumbs up and subscribe, this would make you one of the crew. Savvy?
It's time for a national movement to get high schools and colleges to produce educated, civil-minded individuals who can make a difference in society with the making of rules, laws, and most importantly, peace. Does white privilege exist? And if so, well, to what degree? What of the mass incarceration of black males in our prison system? What is the common denominator of those black males in prison today? Again, in my opinion, the common denominator is one concept. However, this concept has multiple integers. First, there appears to be in the black community a lack of attending fathers. There are some who suggest that black households overall may have a 70% non-male father figure in the home. Next is a complete breakdown of the family unit. I believe a lack of church may also play a very large part in this problematic society. Many young black people find themselves at a loss because of inner-city living arrangements, and there is little, if any, chance for school or even after-school jobs or programs. These same young people, in many cases, are actually afraid for their lives on a daily basis because of where they live. For example, Harlem, the Bronx, Chicago, Los Angeles, Detroit, and the list could continue. Depression runs rampant for folks of all colors in most of these same cities. But what about the churches? The churches, you say? Yes, the churches. For far too long, I believe that those who identify with a belief and the ideology that greatness can be achieved by helping others should, in fact, then, be helping folks, right? For over 30 years, I have discussed, ranted, and raved about the necessity of a free and safe place of study. Now, the church can offer just such a place for those young people who reach out to the church just for this need. Now, stay with me here. I'm really not drifting away into another dimension. Hear me out. The public schools in the United States, while most are well-intentioned, have proven out time and time again to be short of the mark. Now, as a student myself, both K through 12, and then on from there into higher education, I can relate to you firsthand that the curriculums offered and taught can sometimes not be in keeping with what a student may be able to grasp, accept, or stow away that which he or she is being taught. So with that said, now enter the public schools that are in chaos, extreme lack of discipline, and an endless sea of fear, and not just for the students, but for the faculty as well. Now add the factor of trying to arrive at these same schools every morning, untouched, not robbed, not beaten, not stabbed, or worse. Now that eclipsed vision that I just related is a real issue for many school-age children here in the United States today. So we cannot as a nation continue to throw money and throw it away at our educational failures. Now, I recently spoke with two people who were from Harlem, New York, and did in fact live near what is termed the projects. Now, rather than repeat their story, I will paraphrase it like this. Picture yourself as a 13-year-old girl needing to walk just 4 blocks to the store for your mom. You talk your 15-year-old neighbor, who's also your friend, to go along with you, as there's always strength in numbers. Here, then, is what this trip equates out to. Imagine you're in the northeastern part of Syria. There, of course, are the rebels, President Assad's army and fighters, along with ISIS terrorists hiding here, hiding there, waiting for their chance to do someone in, thus creating more fear, more terror. Now, add in the falling bombs, the scattered gunfire, the endless noises you can't identify with, but you're sure it's bad. Does that description sound surreal? I can assure you that I took no liberties in paraphrasing the comparison I just presented. So, as you can see, and undoubtedly you have heard for years as well, something is wrong in our inner city school systems.
Hey, Sarah.
Oh my gosh, she's so cute.
Been doing like I taught you. Love the new tattoo, Sarah.
Dude, that's Sarah. The girl in the pink shirt. That's the girl I was telling you about.
Theater 2 on your left. Hey, Sarah. What color underwear today?
Hey, Sarah. So when are you going to post something new?
Anything you post online, anyone can see. So think before you post.
But more importantly, something is horribly wrong within our society to allow this type of behavior to continue. As Black Lives Matter gains momentum, I would hope that the focus remains on justice for all, but more importantly, turn their attentions and prowess to aligning churches in the beleaguered and depressed areas of our country to provide safe havens for learning. In short, accredited teachers coming into those churches to homeschool, if you will, those pupils who in fact wish to get an education but do not want to endure the dangers associated with going to those public schools that we outlined earlier. After all, churches have a moral responsibility to their communities, whether they're black, they're white, or other. Theology, it not only teaches but affirms the dignity of every human being. If, BLM would get on board with the churches and get the kids to the church for class safely and then home again safely, how many more thousands of lives, black and other, could be saved? But BLM has intentionally chosen to go an entirely different way. For instance, since the inception of BLM, a different type of entitlement theory appears to have emerged from the black left. For instance, some of the students at Western Kentucky University think that black African Americans should receive free tuition. This free tuition would be a form of reparations, according to student spokeswoman Andrea Ambaum. She has alluded on national news that slavery, Jim Crow, and segregation have always been in the status quo for black Americans, while Caucasians in this country have lived with white privilege. Well, BLM spokeswoman Lisa Durden decided to explain a recent event about the Black Lives Matter Memorial Day celebration in New York City. However, the celebration was hosted for blacks only, no white people allowed. I find that odd because I thought that BLM was about equality and getting rid of racism and segregation, getting all that out of the mainstream America. And now, no white people allowed? Well, by courtesy of Fox News, we have a clip here with the young and semi-talented Tucker Carlson, and he's trying to interview Lisa Durden, who is the spokeswoman for the Black Lives Movement. Now, give this a listen, and we'll be back shortly.
Party and barred anyone who was not black from attending. This is what they said. Being intentional about being around black people is an act of resistance. This is an exclusively black space, so if you do not identify as black and want to come because you love black people, please respect the space and do not come. Lisa Durden is a political commentator and Black Lives Matter supporter. She joins us tonight. Lisa, thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Good to see you again. You're doing well.
Thank you. I was confused by this because I thought the whole point of Black Lives Matter, one of the points would be to speak out against singling people out on the basis of their race and punishing them for that. Because you can't control what your race is, and yet they seem to be doing that. Explain that to me.
What I say to that is boo-hoo-hoo. You white people are angry because you couldn't use your white privilege card to get invited to the Black Lives Matters All Black Memorial Day celebration. Wow. Let me contextualize that for you. Memorial Day was created by...
First of all, I don't want you to contextualize.
I need to contextualize it because Memorial Day was created by black former slaves in 1865 to honor those individuals who were Union soldiers who fought and died for our freedom. So Black Lives Matter, in that same vein, decided to get together with black folks.
I'm not going to let you filibuster past my question.
To make sure that black folks were celebrated for being murdered by racist terrorists.
I don't want to shut this down, but I will. Okay. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I just have a really simple question for you. If you don't like people excluding others on the basis of their race, and as a society we agree that that's bad. I agree it's bad, you agree it's bad. Then why are you doing it? And why are you defending it now?
White folks crack me up all of a sudden when we want to have one day for black folks to focus on ourselves. But you've been having White Day forever. You don't say the words anymore because you know it's politically incorrect. But you've had an all-white Oscars, all these movies with all-white actors, movie after movie after movie, all-white TV shows with white casts over and over and over again. The Bachelorette, it took 11 seasons of a black bachelorette. Are you serious?
It's hard to believe. I hope you're not speaking for anyone else. I hope there aren't a lot of people in this country who agree with you.
Well, my name is Lisa Durden. I'm speaking for Lisa Durden.
I just hope there aren't people watching who agree with you, because what you're saying is so hostile and separatist and crazy. It's such a basic violation of what I thought we all agreed on, which is you don't attack people for things they can't control, namely their race.
It's not an attack. I'm stating the facts. People give weddings where they exclude children. It doesn't mean they don't like children. They don't know if your kids are going to be monsters and those kids are going to be well behaved.
No,
so in that same vein, Black Lives Matter decided to have one day where they didn't want white folks who were going to be off the rails. They don't know if you're going to be the ones behaved and for them or the ones who are there against them. So they picked one day to do the celebration.
Let me just ask you a quick question. Do you think it's racist to exclude people on the basis of their skin color?
I think it's racist when you've been excluding people for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years.
Why don't you answer my question and stop with your silly lectures? I'm asking you a very simple question.
We're forced to come together collectively to celebrate ourselves because you guys won't. You are the larger society. Let's be real here.
You guys, I'm talking about what I thought we all believed. Let me ask you this. Do you think it would be fair if white people did come to a Black Lives Matter celebration?
They do all the time. When you look at Black Lives Matter,
do you use the same water fountain that they do?
And you see Black Lives Matter coming together collectively for different issues. You see people of all races. So we do accept them. This particular day, they said, stay your asses out. We want to celebrate today. Okay. We don't want anybody going against us today.
And you can't celebrate if someone who doesn't look like you is around?
Yes, you can, but you can also say, I don't want to do it. It's a personal choice.
Sick, and what you're saying is disgusting, and if you were a Nazi, I would say the same thing to you.
Luckily, I'm not a Nazi.
Because what you're saying is indistinguishable from what they are saying, which is, I don't care your opinions, I don't care your views, your life experience, your intentions. All I care about is the way you look, something that you can't control. And on that basis alone, I'm judging you, and I'm hostile to you. That's the case you're making, and it's divisive and wrong. And it's amazing that you didn't have to say that out loud, but I can't believe you're making the case you're making.
Unfortunately, when you have a racist society like America, you force individuals to come together collectively to make sure that they have a voice. And that's unfortunate that the racism has caused people to come together collectively.
Let me ask you a question. Is there a single white person in America you would have let into this?
Now,
into the celebration.
I'm not Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is a movement.
You're just an apologist for this.
However, I can respect the decision. It doesn't mean it's a decision I would have made. Maybe I would have. Just like a wedding where I might say your kids can't bring their badasses in my wedding.
Children are not an ethnic group. Every person in
You're
the
discriminating
world,
against people with kids. You're saying don't bring your badass kids.
Would it be okay? Yeah, but you see,
and that's
okay, but there are white adults and Asian adults and Hispanic adults, and presumably they're basically the same as black adults, but you don't agree with that.
We have gay pride parades. We have Puerto Rican Day parades. We have all kinds of parades and days that honor individuals. We have Mother's Day. We have Father's Day.
Fathers are allowed to participate
just take your mama out,
I'm not sure you're even capable of having this conversation, so I'm going to end it now. Let me just ask you one last. Let me ask you one last question, and be totally honest with this. Do the people in your world, your parents, your siblings, your kids, your friends, do they agree with you on this?
My family respects my right to free speech.
No, don't give me that dumb answer. I mean, do they agree with what you just said, though? Do you know a lot of people who agree with what you just said? Whatever. No one's contesting it.
I'll see you next time on your show. You'll be inviting me on again.
Do you know a lot of people who agree with you?
Tucker, I'm going to see you again in less than a month. Ratings are going up.
I don't even know what you're talking about, and I'm not sure I look forward to it. But thanks for coming on tonight, Lisa.
In a world of political diatribes, when it feels like your country is being pulled apart, when it seems that the America you grew up in is being taken away, comes one man. That one man is Mike Spears. He left radio several years ago, but now he's back and he's PO'd. He doesn't like where the country is headed. The Spearsy Spin, a 15-minute political overview Monday through Friday of current issues that affect you. Fair and balanced for liberal and conservative thinkers. The Spearsy Spin promises to be educational and humorous. Join Mike Spears for the Spearsy Spin.
Boo-hoo! You white people are angry because you couldn't use your white privilege card to get invited to the Black Lives Matter All Black Memorial Day celebration, or so says Miss Durden. So is it me or is Miss Durden out to lunch here? The statement by Miss Durden that Caucasians have been celebrating White Day forever, well, it seems not to ring true, at least not for me. I guess I would have to confess that my celebration, if it is in fact a celebration over the last 60 years, is comprised of growing up and working on the family dairy farm and going to school, graduating high school and then on to higher education while working 2 jobs. And after 4 years, I was immediately employed in another state and was required to get 2 more years of education to accept a better position within the company I was employed, which I did at night as I had to work my entry position job within this time frame with this company during that time. So for the next 2.5 years, I continued with the company working 60-plus hours a week and still kept up with my radio work and at radio advertising, as well as my other business ventures. Later, I had to leave corporate America, well, hands-on at least, and would work a per diem schedule with regard to corporate structured human resources that had needs and requirements for training the folks. These are seminars with regard to sexual harassment in the workplace, employees' rights and wrongs, the corporate safety goals, as well as sales goal initiative meetings, and of course the psychology of the customer. Now, during the next 13 years, I owned my own estate planning business that serviced New York, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. I retired in September 2015 and shortly thereafter suffered a heart attack that took 6 months for me to get back on track from. So today is, of course, 2017. Now, I'm retired, but I'm still in radio, doing voiceovers, and of course, radio ads. And I'm the voice and the writer for The Spearsy Spin. Yay, go me. I work out at the rehab center 3 times a week with a great nursing staff and other heart patients who are all just a great group of people. So, if this is white privilege, what then is the antithesis of my life's journey? Well, in closing, do you feel that BLM is hostile? Do they act as separatists? Do you think the group is crazy? We'd like to know what you think, so please visit us at thespearsyspin.blogspot.com and let us know what you think. Remember, there's only one world. We all have to live in it, so let's try to make someone's life a little better. We'll see everybody on Monday. As always, thanks, folks.